For today's church crawl, I am still in the Vale of York. My recent videos have been in the Vale of York and the Ainsty area, but today I'm exploring village churches just south of York, but a bit further north of Selby. So we're starting in Escrick and we're going to visit the church there, also then onto the church at Thorganby and then into Weldrake. We may extend the walk up to Elvington, but we'll have to see what the footpaths are like because, as you can see, we've had a lot of rain recently, but the sun is poking its head out now and again, and it's the first time that all the grey weather and the rain has ceased over the past 2 weeks, so we're just going to see how far we get on these paths. So let's go and find these churches. The earliest known reference to a church in Escrick dates to the 13th century. The original medieval church was altered several times, its tower rebuilt in 1460, repairs recorded in 1663, and a major overhaul of its interior furnishings and fittings in 1759. In 1781, the church's original site near Escrick Hall, constructed between 1680 and 1700, was surrendered so that estate improvements could proceed, on condition that a replacement be built. A second church, in brick and in the contemporary Georgian classical style, was consecrated in 1783 besides what is now the busy A19 road. The current St Helens Church, the third in the village and the second on the present site, was built in 1857 in the Perpendicular Gothic Revival style, with some flourishes of more fantastical curvilinear embellishment by architect Francis Penrose. Remains of the old church, located to the west of Escrick Hall, are thought to have remained until around 1920. In the 1920s, the new church was also partially destroyed by fire, but promptly rebuilt. The church contains notable monuments, including a heavily mutilated medieval effigy from an earlier church on this site. In the north aisle is a memorial of the utmost beauty and sculptural achievement. It depicts the recumbent figure of Caroline, First Lady Wenlock, made in pure Carrara marble. The exquisite detail of the fine lace shawl is unforgettable. The sparkle of the marble and the subtle lines in the costume, the stone skin of the figure will move you in one way or another. So having come off the road out of Escrick, down the public bridleway at Tileshed Farm, there's this little track here which cuts across Fairburn Gorse and into the Grey Rains, which I thought might be really muddy, and it probably will be, but let's give it a go. Right, so there we are, cutting across the field, and it looks like I'm going to be the first person to make the path this year. It looks very wet. Okay, so that tiny track across the field took much longer than expected. I'm covered in mud, had to take it slow, and ended up coming out on an access track for a wind turbine. But now, thankfully, the track I need to be on is just within eye shot. St Helens Church at Thorganby boasts an impressive stone west tower of the 15th century Gothic style, with a nave and chancel both quite different and built in brick somewhere between the years 1690 and 1719, according to conflicting accounts on Historic England's listing description and the Entry in the Buildings of England series by Nicholas Pevsner. Based on the assumption of an entire rebuild of the nave and chancel, it is a surprise on entry to see that the chancel arch is of the 15th century, but the Gothic-looking east window in the chancel is actually of the 18th century date, and described as a curious anachronism. The low, flat ceilings internally are suggestive of a Georgian reconstruction, with a void between the pitched roof above. Otherwise, the character of the interior worship space is by no means remarkable or inspiring, but it is furnished with some decent benches and liturgical furniture. In contrast to some other similar size and active churches, the building is orderly and neatly arranged. Altogether, this is a humble rural parish church rebuilt in the early Georgian period, and when viewed from the grounds outside, stands as a handsome example of its type in the local area. St Helen's Church is well worth a visit. Right, as you can see, I am coming up through lawn closes into Wheldrake, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to go up here to Elvington, as I have visited the church in Elvington before and I haven't visited the church at Wheldrake, and the paths have rather taken it out of me today, being so muddy and boggy, so I may not extend the walk and we may just finish it at Wheldrake. Wheldrake is an ancient settlement southeast of York, largely built along one continuous street, flanked to the north and south by back lanes, and has been said to have some of the finest 17th century and 18th century farmhouses in this part of the county. Certainly it has an eclectic mix at the core of what has become a greatly expanded village in more recent times. St Helen's Church in Wheldrake, not unlike St Helen's at Thorganby, has a late medieval perpendicular west tower with a later nave and chancel attached. In this case, the body of the church dates to 1778 and 1779. It is constructed of pale brick with darker brick dressings with a plinth, string course, eaves cornice and key blocks of stone. Many Anglican church buildings across the country underwent substantial phases of reordering and alteration in the late Georgian period, when attitudes towards the architecture of church buildings was predominantly aimed at seating the greatest number of people to hear the voice of the reader and preacher. The character of the central worship space here at St Helen's appears to have been designed with that purpose in mind, and the handsome, spacious and light interior survives to this day.